Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. This is Mars here with the boys, PD and Cal.
Cal.
But I'm seeing something different, so just how you
Hey,
guys
don't worry.
doing?
It doesn't matter, it's not live. Just keep going.
You don't worry about that. I'll take care of that. Just get my name. Cal.
I forget your name, bro.
Just go.
So today we're talking about She-Hulk. Latest episode, and what is your take on the madness that you saw today with the Abomination? All I got to say, just to get a brief setup on this, Jen, she falls in love with this dude, and let's say, so suffice it to say, it goes out beautifully, so beautifully for her, until it doesn't. And then we have the issue with the Abomination. We've been thinking all this time the Abomination is really hiding something, but really he's just a simple retreat person, you know, a new age, trying to enlighten C and D level supervillains and superheroes into what to be done right, how to deal with their anger. So what was your take on this lovely episode, gentlemen? First, let's start off, we'll talk about the Jen issue and her boyfriend after. Let's start first with, what did you think of Abomination and his retreat?
It reminds me that they don't have the budget to do these supervillains. That's why we got all these. I mean, I'll be honest. That thing what they did with El Aguila was a slap in the face. He's a cool character. They couldn't even give him a good costume. I was like, Sam, I know you read those issues of Power Man and Iron Fist. Okay, he was cool. He was a really cool character at the end of the day, much more like in the Zorro vein. And they just totally dunked on him for this. I mean, just terrible, horrible at the end of the day. Ugh.
But that's that wasn't the original Matador. That's a different character, right?
No, that's El Aguila.
Okay, so it's different than the Matador. Okay, cool. Keep going.
The Matador from the Daredevil stuff. That's he had the Matador hat.
Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, that's what make sure.
Harlem. I think El Aguila was originally Puerto Rican.
Yeah. That I had forgot. I was thinking when they said he's sort of a Matador. I was thinking that are they redoing the Matador? But I forgot about that character that was in Power Man and Iron Fist. But now since you mentioned it, I remember. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
They want to retcon certain things because we don't want this guy Puerto Rican running around in the Spaniard costume and with accent. Like it was okay. So here's what we do: we just make him from Spain and we just totally take the piss out of it. But he was a cool character. This frustrates me. There's no small end when they take these characters who actually have very good viability and decide, no, you're just going to be fodder on this show. We got no use for you. Why? Because we'll probably end up using white tigers. So we can't have two. We can't have two of you guys running around. We can't have two Puerto Ricans. So we're just going to deal with this. Or we'll deal with you over here. You're going to be the cool guy because you're going to make the jump to the movies, and you're going to be the guy who's seen in one episode over here with Porcupine and this other dude over here. What's his name? Saracen? I was like, when is that? What? I'm like, okay, just bad.
Okay. El Aguila is actually Spanish.
Okay,
just to clarify that.
He operated in Harlem.
Yeah, he did.
All right. So in this thing, as you were saying, but we could tell where the romance part was going. Like once it started, when the wedding happened, I wasn't really going there. But then in this one, I was like, well, he has to be bad. And then they had sex and he's gone. And
that's terrible. It's terrible. Because what are you saying? The only guys who are good.
Hey, Mr. Women and Children. Chill. You were saying, hey, this is what it is. It's just mediocre TV. I was you yesterday the other time. Writing. And now you're like losing it.
They're telling us the only guys who can be good are the ones who like She-Hulk. Anyone who likes Jen, it's impossible to like Jen. All right. If they like Jen, it's got to be some ulterior motives because Jen is just going to get dunked on her whole average, level 6 life at the end of the day. That's a horrible message to put out there. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
I think that's why they made her character so dowdy. Okay, as opposed to trying to dress her up and make her look a little better. I mean, she was an orphan black, and she didn't look like this all the time, right?
No, she looked like a little like that, but at the same time, it's about confidence. And I get the part that they have her character, and she's a character that lacks confidence, and she's like struggling with that. And that is something that happens. You see the ugly duckling going on to date myself, go on Jenny Jones and pull out the person that dissed her, and then she still gets dissed because she don't have a core to
Yeah.
defend herself anyway. So it's like you got to fix the core. That's the thing that they're missing in this story. But she's
Right.
a lawyer. She has to have some sort of core to get to the point of getting the job that she wanted before she got to She-Hulk. You had to fight all these other people to get to that point. It's not a thing where they just go on the merit. They need some sort of spunk and spite to the fight to get to the next job. But ultimately, that part was it was a little too predictable. That part of it, because you're leading to this whole thing, but then the other part, because it was kind of drawing on. It was a bit that that was going on in I think the early 2000s, where like in the 80s they're trying to give the villains a little bit of something, but not too much. They could still show up and bust through the back of the headquarters, like in the. So this episode was kind of like the Bruce Jones Hulk, because in the Bruce Jones Hulk, the Abomination is reading literature to as literature students, and he has a hat and a trench coat on, and he says, "Remember, next week I want such and such read." And then he goes and has this big blowout fight with the Hulk, drawn by John Romita Jr. So it's just like this is kind of Bruce Jones writ large, because they have a whole kind of a retreat and this thing. But then at the same time, my hard part of it was, because this as an episode on its own, outside of the boyfriend being the supervillain thing and that sort of stuff, this could be an okay episode. But then they had so many characters done poorly, as Cal said, like Man Bull, like no money put into that, like nothing put into all this stuff. It was like, what was it? Neil Adams said there's no bad characters, just bad writers. And they played to the worst parts. And this other part is Crusher Creel shows up, and he's like freaking Johnny Depp. Like when did Crusher Creel turn into like freaking Babe, the guy form of a Babe? It was like, chill with that. How did this happen?
Wait a minute.
Wait. You're throwing us off.
Who's Crusher Creel?
Crusher Creel is the guy with the pullback hair. He was one of the wrecking crew in the shit.
Crusher Creel was one of the wrecking crew?
Yeah, the wrecking crew that was, that came
guy
up.
that she broke the fourth wall.
Oh, is that you're saying? Am I mistaking that for what's the name for the Absorbing Man? Did I make that mistake?
No, I don't.
Crusher Creel, Absorbing Man. I didn't
okay,
think
what's the name of? He had one of those kind of names in the. What was the lead guy in the Wrecker? Is he just a Wrecker?
They call him the Wrecker. That's it. They call him the Wrecker.
Okay, the Wrecker. What was his? Didn't he have a regular person? Oh, his Dirk. It's Dirk. So it's Dirk. So like, how did he turn into a hottie? How did he turn into like a male Babe? How did it happen?
Everybody got the name right. Dirk Garthwaite. Garthwaite.
Don't go. Chill.
I was doing a little Scottish accent.
Thanks for the correction. But the thing about it like this: how did he turn from being ugly to handsome? How did that happen? How did he turn into Johnny Depp?
Does it matter?
Yes, it does. It does. It's not his character. How is he going to turn into the mean, nasty person that freaking stabs the thing in the back and pulls out one of his plates? He tries to kill Thor.
It's never going to happen.
It doesn't happen. Not in this universe.
All right,
no, so, not with these characters, because these characters, they have decided these characters are trash.
Mm-hmm.
In the 616 universe, yes, but not in this Marvel universe. Okay?
All right. So if you think about it like that, they did a okay television show, but they did a bad disservice to more characters. Not to say that the Porcupine is a strong character, but they made it a million times worse. That we wouldn't. Why would he be in the costume, smelling it up all that time? And,
Porcupine's trash. But El Aguila was a cool character, man.
Yeah, he reminds me too much of the Swordmaster, so I don't know. They literally had a character like that in the Hawkeye show. So, and then they had
but what you said, the Hawkeye is the big point, that they basically took role players that were actual supervillains. Not to say that Porcupine was a supervillain, but you're not supposed to immediately just pull out the bad characters just to roll over them. That's what I don't like. I pull a character, the other guy, the black dude from Blade, one of the villains from Blade, and then just turn him into like, a guy who's acting and performing, where it's just like, this is a, a Bart Sears vampire. This is like a thing that looks real scary. And they just this is a guy who walks around here like he's, like Vincent Price or something like that. It's like, come on, this is, this is a waste of time. But I mean, story wise, I get it. And story wise, doing like trying to do that Bruce Jones thing, they could do an episode like that, but it's just such a just not serving any of those villains well. And not to say that they're great villains, but don't use them if they're not great. That's what I say.
But it's just a TV show that they can use anybody they want to, particularly these C and D level people. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like it's not like you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is going to be a huge factor. I totally disagree. I think that they can use him as
What
much
do
as
you
they
disagree with?
I think they
Yeah.
can use him as much as they want. They want to. I don't think these characters are not going to impact the universe. They're not major villains or anything like that. This is one of the 5,000 villains they have in the mission in the in the database, and they say, hey, let's get these two. You know, and like I said, him and Swordman are so much alike. It's like, what the heck, you know?
Who's alike?
They're like,
He's saying the swords. He's saying the sword. He just
Ella
sent me.
Gila, but no, absolutely not. Ella Gila had a totally different personality. He had a much cooler ability, and at the time he was out, the swordsman was dead. Okay, they had
he's
resurrected
alive
him
now.
from
He's
event.
alive now.
No, I'm not talking about alive now. You were saying, hey, these guys had a whole bunch of stuff in common and didn't know the background, didn't know the story. Like the rest of these guys coming in here and think all they got to do is watch 40 minutes of television and they know 30 years, 40 years of history. The swordsman was dead over there bunking with Mantis, thanks to that Avengers issue where Scarlet Witch and Vision get married, and El Aguila was his own thing. He was more like a Zorro character than the swordsman ever was, and he was a hero. So there was nothing. These two guys had nothing in common, with the exception that they both used swords. El Aguila was a mutant. Does that guy look like a mutant to you? No, he looks
They
like
look similar. They
trash.
look similar to me, bro. I'm sorry. You know, all
Oh,
I'm saying
bro.
is that these are background characters. They're not main characters. Okay. Now, if somebody
What?
like
Oh,
the
oh,
Black
wait,
Knight,
oh, whoa,
the
whoa,
Black
whoa,
Knight has
wait a second.
the
Wait a
Black
second.
Knight
Wait a
has
second.
the Black Knight has the sword, right?
What are you saying here? What are you saying here? So long as it's a background character, we can dunk on this guy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I didn't like. I didn't like that at all.
We got to be able to do something. Basically, you're saying
Look
forget about
how
using any
cool.
character.
Look how cool that outfit is in the comic.
You
Look
like the
how cool that
Titan.
outfit is. And then they come over. I mean, obviously he's Zorro. Okay. And then what do? They come over to this and they gave him a mask that looked like it looked like a maxi pad wrapped around his head. It was terrible.
And the rest of the costume looked kind of like the Black Knight. So I was like, this is the Black Knight at first?
That's what I thought
And,
too.
and it was like kind of a waste of using this character.
I guess they wanted a swordsman. They went down the list, right? Swordsman's taken.
Well,
Black
they
Knight,
made fun of the swordsman
Knight.
too.
You know.
The
But
swordsman was a cool character for the 2 seconds he was alive.
Yeah,
And I,
he was
and I didn't really like the fact that they married him off as like he got married to what was it, a tree or something like that. Like that's what she was basically the elemental goddess or something like that. So
Yep. Oh, you mean the Celestial Madonna?
yeah. So she kind of connects to all of the plants and all that stuff. Anyway, I just
Look, I get it. I stand by what I said before. Still women and children, but you take some you take some characters. You take some good characters over here, and this is like, nah. I mean, the Wrecking Crew was totally wasted. Those guys used to give Thor some problems.
Well, the Wrecker by himself, he used to do some real damage, and then they kind of said, okay, well now he's going to split his power with these guys, and then they say, well, they're more powerful separate. So, but then when they got to Secret Wars, they were basically, hey, let Spider-Man wipe the floor with these guys separately. He can do it separately.
A lot of people in Secret Wars were out of sorts. Okay, we all know that. That was 12 issues of the Marvel Universe according to Jim Shooter. So you got to take that into, to which Jim Shooter will rightfully respond, sold like hotcakes.
No, he'll say that characters were done right. Like Reed, like Thor, none of those characters, those successful things by Byrne and Simonson, they weren't doing it right. They should have done it like Secret Wars, or else it'd be selling 600,000 a month, like an issue. 600,000 readers. Like, no, that's 5 guys buying 1,000 books, hoping it sells well. But anyway, I just kind of feel that I didn't like them kind of doing. I don't like doing that. I think pull out some characters that could work in that space.
Like who? Give me an example.
oh my, I could just go through freaking the Marvel 2-in-1 and and just pull characters that would be like you can have moments with. But I'm not gonna just pull characters just make fun. And I'm gonna do characters that are easy to do if you're not gonna have the money to make the man bowl. Like at first I was like, are they gonna doing the doing a bad version of Razorback? I said, oh, okay, no, this is man bowl from the early story. So it's kind of that the costuming is so bad. It's kind of hard to recognize some of the ones they do unless they say like I'm Mr. Immortal or they have like a title at the bottom. So I think as a character, no, let me get to the character part. The hard part of it is she's just too, and this is going to, she's in her 30s. This sort of journey for a character is a little too far. Yes, sitcom characters go through the personal doubt, struggling, everyman type of thing where they struggle with their peers who are a little more popular or something like that, and they're always yearning for success. But there's not much place to go outside when you're a lawyer. Like you are at kind of outside of having your own firm. There's not much. You've done it. You've already. Your confidence should be there. You can be an a-hole. You can have some of that stuff, but the thing is, she's struggling with is kind of a like a
Just to jump in
college
real
or high
quick,
school type of journey. What?
jumping real quick. In the first episode, she already said that she had accomplished all this stuff and was confident. Okay, so now it's back. Now it's like we're back to like what is it? Like advice to the lovelorn, that sort of stuff. At the end of the day,
Dear Marvel cracked head. Dear Abyss, I'm struggling with my. But that's another strong point to look at it. And if you think about it like this, the hard part is anyone who's going through like any kind of popularity for whatever reason where you don't know where it came from, because that's what I kind of went through in college. I didn't know where it kind of came from, and it was kind of like, this is crazy. Like I look sort of like the guy from Kid and Play, but it's just like, how did this happen? And it just came out the blue because I've always been to myself. And then at some point, you lose your hair. You're like, all the people that graduated, all the people I started school with, they left school, ran out of money, or graduated. And I'm just saying, I'm here by myself. This is how it was supposed to be, back the way it was. And I think, no, I was still struggling with the hair loss. So I had a hat on. And then like the 2 seconds when it took the hat off, you sort of see it's like, oh, it's not the hair, it's not all this, it's just me. And but it's a college sort of thing. It's a high school, it's a young person, like a person who's going through a coming of age type of thing. If you're going through that as an adult, it's kind of harder to understand it for me, like to say, and not in the job she has. I mean, you can have a shy lawyer, someone who's just about business type of deal, but those type of people are introverts now have their own group where they feel like, hey, I don't need anybody. I'd rather be Jen and be able to like look at famous people. Like well, I've met one. I don't want to say, but my boss gonna get me in trouble. But there's a famous actor who's in the Spider-Man movie, right? That should narrow it down. Not the most recent one, but one of the 3 recent Spider-Man movies. And I've seen him, and he's a popular people. Obviously girls like him. When he goes out, hat on, glasses, walking, not wanting to be recognized. She has she can transform into Jen, so she can be invisible. And anybody who doesn't like Jen, only like She-Hulk, what do? You cut them off. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the thing, and that's the story they're doing. That's your easy way to know, to cut these people off. And she's like, this is my best friend. And now the best friend who steals all the people from me. Yeah, but that goes to that goes to all kids, like young people, men or women. But at the same time, it's something for someone who's in their 30s who has established in the job. Yes, there'd be that kind of 1 or 2, but then you'd be like, as a movie star, you'd be like, I get to hide and nobody recognize me, and get away. That's what, if you're gonna play that angle where I don't know. I just think it's too much for a person in their 30s with the job she has. And if, as Cal said, they already established that she already got to, is confident in her job, this would probably be like a couple of week thing. But the dating part, no, I'm not buying into that sort of thing. I can't just, those are guys you don't talk about. You don't cry when the guy is like, the She-Hulk is, that's the F out of here moment. Girls, when you go through that, just tell the guy, F out of here. Tell him to F off. and move on.
Mars, you got anything to say? Or you just want to wrap it?
I'm speechless. We haven't even touched the abomination. What do you think that he was about him being a retreat?
Who cares?
I thought it was pretty funny, the very fact that we were thinking that he's going to be doing something outside the box.
Whatever.
No, I was worried that they were going to have, they would make them have a relationship. So as long as they didn't do that, I'm okay.
Where would you get that?
You don't read the comic books in the 2000s. She slept with basically every superhero they could put her with.
That's true, and she slept with the Juggernaut, villain.
Yeah, for no good reason that she had someone adorable to have sex with.
Oh, there was a reason.
No, the Juggernaut is a nothing character.
There was a reason.
He's not a good character.
She wanted that crimson gem of Citarac.
Okay, we are definitely getting off this train. That's for sure. So, what about the last part? What is this dude Josh? He seduces her, and well, I don't know if you can call it. Is that really seduction?
He didn't seduce her.
Dude, he should have been in. He should have been in the friend zone after the first date where they're just like,
Tried to kiss him, and he like turned away.
all that. That's a.
He wasn't
put on
seduced.
the back burner.
She got played. You came over here.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I'm gonna play up to the whole thing. She's sitting here. She's all by herself. I know what I need to do. She's all plain. You just went right for the low hanging fruit. I like you for you. I'm gonna do 1 date. I'm not gonna try anything. 2 dates. Not gonna try anything. 3rd date. I'm gonna go home. She's pulling me in. She's pulling me in at the end of the day. She got played. That's all that is.
Yeah, it's a classic thing. So as far as even though it was predictable for me, for y'all ladies, anybody can get played. It just happens.
So,
Is,
did you guys enjoy the episode? Let's put it like that.
Overall, the last 2 episodes I thought were pretty standard, with the exception of the stuff that I didn't like. It's pretty much in the vein of what they've been doing. So hey,
I think this episode was better than the last. Petey, what's your take on it?
This one was I was okay with the wedding. I just had the issue with I said with the B story. This thing I was okay with them kind of trying to do the retreat because it was just a basic kind of story. Like it was a really simple sort of thing and it gets into her character. I just had some problems with that sort of characterization and the whole characterization of those villains. So the story itself was fine. The characters they use and how they utilize them, that was kind of weak, but the framework was there. I just think, it's not to say it's getting any more better. It's not getting better, but I think doing this whole, 9-issue arc to get to the She-Hulk where she kind of gets to the end and she was like, I'm confident now. Like it's basically going through the same arc that Jen went through in the Savage She-Hulk, where it took her about issue 9 or 10. But this is the transformations was what the problem were. So she was feeling like the She-Hulk was taking over, and then at some point she was like, "I'm cured. Thanks, Zapper. I like being the She-Hulk. Let me buy some clothes and do it She-Hulk style. Tear the sleeves." It's just like, so that it seems like they're trying to do that, but it's not really the arc you can do when she can already transform at will. So I think that's it doesn't work together. Where the other story, having something where she would, change and start to lose control of the change, then you can say, hey, she's taking over my life. and she wants to have a regular life, that sort of thing. You don't have it. She can turn it off all the time. And they're just kind of doing the, hey, this supervillain ran into me type of deal, which is your basic comic plot, but you kind of space that story out as much as you can. This is like, let's do it every week. And she'll have a superhuman person to defend in court. So, or we'll bring Wong back again.
Some of the premise that they came up with, like there was a previous episode where they had the dude, and he was like, "Oh, I've got all these spouses because I keep killing myself because I'm running away with." As a subplot, I'm like, okay, that's right in line of what these guys are going for. And some of the stuff they could actually make, I think, some interesting subplots, and not slap me funny. At the very least, some interesting sitcom stuff that you could do with at the end of the day. I don't know. I think they really wasted so far. They've really wasted the Titania character because I was like, it would be cool if she actually had some sort of rival who was like could give her some pace. In and Titania shows up. Okay, you get Sue. All right, when you fight, you stalemate. You can get some mileage out of that, and something the viewers would actually look forward to. And instead, oh, my veneers are cracked. It's like, okay, every single challenge, is some fodder at the end of the day, with the exception of the dude who butters her up, makes her feel good, and then gets her blood out of and gets her blood. It's so that type of stuff in terms of the writing is like, I don't understand. You would get more mileage if you just tweak these a little thing, but their numbers are great, so they obviously know something I don't.
Well, I mean, the hard part is it would have to make Titania into a character that was viable because she really was, especially towards I mean, she's introduced in Secret Wars and she's kicking behind, She-Hulk being one of them, and then Spider-Man kind of slaps her around, and then of course after that she can always get slapped around by Spider-Man, so it kind of made her into like a nothing sort of character, but she had this psychological block when heroes get beat down by villains like every other issue and come back, and it's like, no, this chick who's a bully gets slapped around. You know how long it would take Spider-Man to slap around the people she was taking out, and she's like, but anyway, I mean, I hear what you're saying because they could have done better with the character. I think they had a little framework with her having a business, so it kind of works for a TV show, but then they kind of went for the veneers part was really bad. It was okay that she was wrecking okay that She-Hulk's basically wrecking the wedding, right? And then they kind of chickened out on that ending where the bride was okay with the floor being smashed because the She-Hulk is now.
What else was she supposed to do? She had to be positive, right?
She said that she didn't want the bride to be said she didn't told her not to She-Hulk, and she
right,
She-Hulk.
But then she did it, so now it's out, and so.
And she's happy now. Why? It don't make no.
I thought she was drunk. I thought the bride was drunk off her feet.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, because she gives her that hug and she's got one eye open and the other one was closed. I thought she was drunk.
I think she was like, I gotta go with this. It doesn't make
it sounds like they kind of, with that, they're trying to close it out to give us a nice ending. It would have been cool if she's still drunk and be like, you ruined everything. And then she gets to be the She-Hulk, ruin my life again thing. But anyway, they wanted to end it. They end how they want to end. All right. We did as much as we could for this, right? No Daredevil yet. So they're holding it off till the end.
They sure
Last
are.
episode, people, and don't worry. And when Daredevil's in the episode, he will be there for about, I predict about 90 seconds. He'll be in the episode, and
we'll hold you to that. We'll hold you to that. 2 episodes left. Okay, so we will hold you to that. All right,
90 seconds. But thankfully, he won't even be in character. He'll be in the original. He'll be in the original outfit. They're like, nah, we don't like Wally Wood.
Well, right, so Disney, they're like, we're holding firm. But Bendis, you will get a credit, even though you've done nothing for the character.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Even
when we don't talk about Bendis, we talk about Bendis.
Oh, I saw a great video on Bendis. Now that you mention it, they talk about how initially the sales were up on Superman, and then they went way down. They went way down. The guy, the great video, he pointed out the same thing, that DC made some spending choices and paying his hefty page rate, and it bit them on the behind. So, he thought it was going to be, well, no, he didn't. His mistake, I'm not saying, I thought it would be a good move for him. I think the best thing would have been not to tax DC because he's the great one. Kind of say, hey, just give me what your regular top rate is and let the book sell on itself. And let me not space the story out. Let me keep it tight and keep some money, give the people a bang, and then start to space it out. Get the people trust and then turn full business. But
in this day and age, everybody wants to get as much as they can get. So.
He didn't try to get as much as he get. He tried to stretch out the Superman. He ain't close to finish what he was planning on doing.
Yeah, but he had a lot of other titles rocking too, so don't forget.
All that's done. All of it.
He started with Superman.
Wait,
Everything else,
we have
he
totally
started with
digressed from what we were
Superman.
talking about before.
Everything else came down the pike, okay? And he dropped the ball when it came to Superman. I mean, the dude had no story going on other than he was going to age up John Kent. That was it. There was nothing else going on. Made Jor-El into some sort of madman and was doing like twice told tales with the same stuff. He wanted to have, let me do an Illuminati for the DC universe. No, that works in Marvel.
No, because he said he is what he said he wouldn't be. He said you can't have no right to hack, and then he's going on for the rest of his life hacking out stories. It's continuity comics. He just saying he just the same as Savage Dragon with maybe better dialogue, or maybe too much of the 200 more pages of dialogue than Savage Dragon. Sorry, Morris. Forgive me.
No, I don't forgive you. Both of you went off the rack. So listen, if you like what you're saying, well, if you.
What are you trying to pull up? What kind of state's evidence are you trying to pull up?
As usual, you can see it. You can always see when he's up to something. You see the reflection in the glasses because he's over there surfing. Like 16 different pages coming up and going down. Like, okay, I got it right over here. I'm gonna hit him with the bam.
I said that they should bring on Bendis. That's what they should do to turn the thing up after the New 52. And then they didn't do it at the New 52. They did Rebirth. They made all the money. They even made money with the metal thing. They made metal with the new characters. And then next thing you know, they had to spend money on John Romita Jr. and Bendis. And then they said, no more high-priced writers and artists. We're not doing that no more. We're doing the same thing Marvel's done. You want to do this? No creator percentage, nothing. Hey, we just like... Sorry. They didn't just call Bendis, they cut off Grant Morrison on his Green Lantern. They said, none of the high-priced guys. Everybody got to go. Can't afford this no more.
That's right.
Nobody putting their new pools in on our budgets.
They turned into Morris Day. What time is it? It's time to go.
they turned on the lights on all the creators.
Wow. Bendis has not had the freedom to make the same type of choices that he's been able to do with Marvel. Where
you're defending him? Are you defending him?
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be even. We want to be fair and balanced here, unlike the typical dump on people. You guys know.
He added to the Krypton's origin, Spider-Man's origin, Superman's origin. He added on to it, making a different thing that happened to Krypton than what we knew.
Yeah, and then he turned
right. He
turned Jor-El into some sort of madman, literally. Where these guys where you had like the some reject Illuminati saying that this guy was like a danger to the entire galaxy or the entire universe. They had to send him back to be killed before. It was terrible. It was so, and the worst thing about it is like the Kryptonian elements of Superman's story are really touch and go at this point. They don't want to do that stuff because they want the time to Earth and the humans, this, that, and the other. So they're going to kill a whole bunch of storylines. The last guy who did it was Scott LaBelle, and he was clicking on all cylinders with it, which is why, of course, they stopped doing it. Here, you actually get some Krypton stuff, and what is it? It's the same trite stuff. Oh, Daddy is a mad scientist. Just madness at the end of the day. And then it was never resolved. When he got sent back to Krypton, does that mean this never happened? Or it did happen? He gets sent. This guy took his grandson out to explore space and lost him.
Well, I mean, he was really
stories.
That's what the guy was saying. That's where the fans turned on him when they did not like him getting rid of Jonathan, where it was clearly the old school. How do I get rid of the kid character? Like, I want to get rid of this kid character. Now they're going full tilt on the Super Son thing. So, well, this She-Hulk episode has been great. We got to throw in some shots of Bendis and his DC work, even though we're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe on television on Disney Plus. It made sense. I think the connection is there, Mars. I think it's like it's like this real
not even close.
Circle. It's like we close the circle. Like closure. The episode has a nice arc. We close out the show.
Hey, if you like what you see, give us comments, thumbs up, spin a rack out.
Don't give up on us, man. Don't give up on us.